Trump ordered a fresh round of military strikes on Iran as the fragile US-Iran confrontation erupted into another major escalation across the Middle East. The United States launched its third wave of strikes in a week after accusing Iran of attacking a civilian vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. US Central Command said the operation was ordered after the IRGC allegedly carried out a blatant attack on a civilian cargo ship transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The Cyprus-flagged cargo ship was reportedly left burning, suffered major engine room damage, and was unable to continue its voyage after the alleged attack. US Central Command said President Trump ordered the strikes to make Iran pay a heavy price for targeting commercial shipping in the Gulf. Statement by US CENTCOM read, and I quote, "At 7:15 p.m. ET today, US Central Command forces began launching the third round of strikes this week against Iran. After Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces blatantly attacked MV GFS Galaxy, a Cyprus-flagged container ship transiting the Strait of Hormuz. A civilian crew member is missing and the vessel is unable to continue the journey due to an onboard fire and significant engine room damage. Iran was provided yet another opportunity to demonstrate adherence to the Memorandum of Understanding. After being held accountable for earlier attacks on commercial vessels, but has again failed. In response, the United States is imposing a heavy cost by continuing to degrade Iran's ability to attack civilian mariners and commercial ships freely transiting the strait. The strikes are being carried out at the direction of the Commander-in-Chief." Unquote. US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth declared, "Iran made a poor choice. Now they pay," as Washington defended the latest military action. The United States accused Iran of once again violating the Memorandum of Understanding, saying the latest strikes were a direct military response. Footage circulating online and cited by RT News allegedly shows HIMARS rocket launches from Bahrain toward targets inside Iran. Reports also claimed another wave of US strikes on Iran was launched from Kuwait as operations expanded across the Gulf. Explosions were reported in Bandar Abbas as fresh strikes rocked multiple military-linked sites across southern Iran. Additional blasts were reported in Avaz, Minab, Asaluya, Sirik, and Chabahar as the latest attacks unfolded. Iran's Fars news agency reported multiple explosions across Bushehr province during the new wave of US strikes. The latest escalation came after Iran allegedly fired warning shots at a commercial vessel transiting the Strait of Hormuz, according to US claims. Statement by Iran's IRGC Navy read, and I quote, "In our previous statement, we said that foreign interference and the illegal determination of shipping routes in the Strait of Hormuz will be met with our decisive response and will disrupt the process of normalizing traffic in the strait. Incited by foreigners, several vessels attempted to move through an unauthorized route, disregarding warnings. To correct their course, consequently, a vessel that had jeopardized maritime security by switching off its systems was struck and brought to a halt. Following this incident, the Strait of Hormuz is closed until further notice, and until the end of US interference in this region, no vessel will be permitted to transit. If the enemy, under the pretext of this incident, which it itself caused, carries out any new act of aggression, it will be met with a severe response, and new enemy bases in the region will be targeted." Unquote. Iran's IRGC declares the Strait of Hormuz closed until further notice, dramatically escalating tensions across one of the world's busiest shipping routes. Tehran says the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed until what it calls US interference in the Middle East comes to an end. The IRGC warns that no commercial or military vessel will be allowed to cross the Strait of Hormuz without Iran's approval. Meanwhile, Oman proposes two separate shipping corridors in an effort to reduce tensions and keep maritime traffic flowing. Muscat reportedly suggests dividing operational responsibility for the Strait of Hormuz between Oman and Iran under new arrangement. Iran rejects the proposal, insisting that any future security arrangement must involve joint control of the entire Strait of Hormuz. Tehran reportedly fears separate shipping corridors could permanently divert global maritime traffic away from Iranian-controlled waters. Amid alarming public calls for Trump's assassination, Iran has publicly denied any resumption of peace talks, flatly contradicting Washington's account of the diplomatic situation. On July 10, Iran's foreign ministry stated clearly that there was no request to negotiate with the United States, throwing cold water on Trump's own claims of ongoing dialogue. Even as Trump insists Tehran was the one asking to keep talks alive, an Iranian cleric is simultaneously urging a direct strike on the president, exposing the deeply contradictory signals coming from Iran. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai accused the United States of repeatedly breaching its commitments, arguing that Washington has made a habit of signing deals it never intends to honor. We had no request to negotiate with the US, but based on our consistently responsible approach, we did not reject the request of one of the regional mediators to travel to Iran and discuss the latest situation. As you are aware, this visit took place today, Friday, July 10th, in Mashhad, and we conveyed our points of view and perspectives to the Qatari party. America's breach of covenant is a habit. If previously in 2018 their excuse was that they had a problem with the previous administration, now they apparently have stubbornness even with themselves. The Memorandum of Understanding, which has only been signed for 21 or 22 days, has constantly faced the violation of its various clauses by America. The events that occurred on Wednesday and Thursday were a blatant violation of clauses 1 and 2 of the Memorandum of Understanding. The announcement they made regarding the cancellation of the sale of Iranian oil was also a blatant violation of another clause of the Memorandum of Understanding, and the news recently announced about the imposition of new sanctions is a clear violation of Clause 9 of the Memorandum. From the very beginning, we clearly stated a commitment in exchange for a commitment. This means that we will not fulfill any commitment without a corresponding action. If the opposing party violates its commitments, which it has, the Islamic Republic of Iran has reciprocally taken and implemented the necessary actions. This is the approach that will continue in the future. The UNSC meeting was convened at the request of the United States, the United Kingdom, and France in implementation of Resolution 2231, which, from our perspective and from a legal standpoint, practically does not exist. Security Council Resolution 2231 expired on October 18, 2025. Therefore, any reporting by the Secretary-General regarding the implementation of this resolution is meaningless and lacks any legal validity. The positions of China and Russia are the same. This trip is a continuation of the consultations that we started with Oman over the past month or two regarding the Strait of Hormuz issue. As you know, the Strait of Hormuz issue was one of the key issues in the ceasefire Memorandum of Understanding. Iran accepted a clear responsibility regarding the establishment of future arrangements and also the issue of maritime services related to ship traffic in Oman and has been very determined and decisive in this regard. According to the agreement, we were to consult and cooperate with Oman in this regard. Several technical meetings have been held so far, both in Tehran and on this trip, and it is in continuation of those consultations to help facilitate safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz. On July 10th, Donald Trump publicly claimed that Iran had itself asked Washington to continue talks even after the ceasefire ended, framing Tehran as the side seeking engagement. Trump said the US agreed to those talks but made clear the ceasefire was now over, delivering both an olive branch and a threat in the very same breath. Iran's foreign ministry response directly contradicted Trump's public account, creating a sharp and public clash of narratives that makes any path back to dialogue look increasingly difficult. Interestingly, all of this unfolded amid a sharp rise in rhetoric around a possible assassination attempt on the president, adding a deeply personal and dangerous dimension to the already volatile standoff.